Good morning, students. We were discussing the chapter manufacturing industries, and now we have to discuss the topic industrial pollution and environment degradation. So, as we have discussed earlier, also the manufacturing industries or any sort of industries are very important for the development, for the economic growth of the country, but at the same time they pollute our environment also. So they are very good for the economic development, for boosting the economy, for economic growth, for GDP contributions. They are very good, but on the other hand they contribute to the environment degradation also. So various type of pollutions which we have seen, the industries which are responsible for polluting the environment, like the air pollution, the smoke, dust, the particulate matter which is emitting from the industries, that contribute to the environment degradation and pollution of the air. Then water pollution, all the effluents which the industries they discharge into the water bodies, that also create degradation of the environment, especially the water bodies. Then the thermal kind of pollution is done by the hot water, the hot effluents which are discharged from the industries directly into the water bodies. And then after that, the noise pollution due to the industrial activity and the construction activity. So all these are the industrial pollution. They are caused by the industries. So now let's discuss the air pollution in detail. So it is caused by the presence of high proportion of undesirable gases like carbon monoxide is there, sulfur dioxide is there. So the presence of these undesirable gases in the air, so like the airborne particulate matter is also suspended in the air, like dust and smoke is there. Then the spray mist is there. So smoke is emitted by chemical and paper factories, brick kilns which manufacture the bricks, then refineries, smelting plants from where we extract metals from the ores, burning of the fossil fuel. So in big and small factories which ignore all the pollution norms. So all these are the culprits which result in the air pollution. Then apart from this, the toxic gas leak is there, that can be very dangerous with long-term effects. So like we have seen the Bhopal gas tragedy, where the very poisonous gas methyl isocyanate was leaked from the Bhopal fertilizers plant of Union Carbide factory. So this we have seen the toxic gas leak. Again, it is very harmful, dangerous for the people, and after that also the effects of this gas leak can be felt now also. The long term birth defects people have, miscarriages, cancer is there. So the long term effects are there of these kind of disasters, which industrial disasters which happen. Then this all these factors, it adversely affect the human, plant, our environment, animals, atmosphere as a whole. So this was the air pollution. So now let's discuss the water pollution. Now this is caused by both the inorganic and the organic industrial waste and the effluents which are discharged into the river. So all this the waste from the textile industry, from the mineral based industry, all these industries, they discharge their waste into the water bodies. And the main culprit in this is, let's see which industries are there: paper industry, chemical industry, dye industry, textile industries, petroleum industry, tanneries where the leather is being processed, electroplating industry. So all these industries, they let out their discharges, whether they are dyes or detergents or acids or salts or heavy metals like lead and mercury, pesticides, fertilizers, rubber, all into the water bodies. So the other solid waste which is being generated, which also pollute our water bodies, like fly ash, where the coal is being used, like in thermal power plants where the coal is being used for producing energy. So there the waste material is in the form of fly ash, it is suspended in the air. Then we have phosphogypsum, this is also a solid waste product. Iron and steel impurities, slags which are removed in the smelting process. So all these are the solid major waste from the industries which are also discharge into the water bodies, thereby causing the water pollution. Next is, students, now the thermal pollution. So the next one which we have to discuss is the thermal pollution. This occurs when the hot water from the factories and the thermal plants are directly discharged and drained into the rivers, ponds and water bodies before cooling. So definitely if this kind of water is discharged, it will affect somehow the aquatic life also. The marine life of that area will be disturbed. Then the waste from the nuclear power plants, if we see nuclear and weapon production facilities, this causes long-term defects, cancer, birth defects we have seen. So wherever the waste from these plants that is being discharged, so it will create the problems, these kind of problem for the people of that area. Miscarriages will be seen, more birth defects will be there in the children. So students, now soil and water pollution is again very closely related. Like if we dump the waste material on the soil, obviously we will pollute our land degradation will be there. So eventually the soil degradation will also be there when we keep on dumping the waste material on our soil. So when the rain comes, the rainwater also percolates down and it will affect the underground water level also. Whatever fertilizer, pesticides are there, acid, salts we have discharged, we have thrown on the soil, so that will percolate deep down, seep deep down into the underground water level also. So this is how the damage is being done to the environment. So this is how the environment degradation is there due to the human activities. Now next one is, students, noise pollution. So if the noise pollution continues, if the people they are surviving in this kind of conditions, environment where a lot of noise is there every day due to the construction activity, industrial activity, so obviously they will develop anger, irritation, stress, these kind of disorders. Hearing impairments can be there, increased heart rate, blood pressure. So unwanted sound is always an irritant and it is a source of depression and stress. Like for example, any construction activity, any industrial activity, noise of the machinery, generators noise, factory equipments are there, this generators are there, so this electric drills are there. So all this create a lot of noise. So all this we have discussed the type of pollution. So in this we have discussed air, we have discussed water, thermal, and then the noise pollution. Now, so these were the pollution. Now let's see its solutions. What can be the control, how we can control the environment degradation, what the industries can do. So here, every liter of a water, the wastewater which is discharged into the water bodies by the industries, it pollute 8 times the fresh water. So the 1 liter of wastewater disturbs 8 times the fresh water. So this is the ratio, that this much is the effect, the worst effect of the dumpage of the 1 liter of the wastewater. So now how the industrial pollution of the wastewater can be controlled. So some suggestions are there, like minimizing the use of water for processing. So we can processing can be done by reusing the water, like in jute industries. So much water is required for processing. So in tanneries also, so the reusing the water can be the best option where the jute processing is required, and wherever the tanneries lot of water is required, then recycling also we can do. Then harvesting rainwater. Second solution can be the rainwater harvesting. So the rooftop rainwater harvesters can be installed on the rooftops, and we can harvest the rainwater and we can utilize it for various purposes. So rainwater can be collected by using rainwater harvesting, and later on we can utilize that rainwater for various purposes. Next is treating the hot water. So not discharging directly the hot water into the water bodies. First treat them properly and then that should be discharged. So for treating the hot water or the effluents, the harmful chemicals, toxic elements are there in this water which is discharged into the water bodies. So primary, secondary and tertiary treatment can be done. So in primary, basically the grinding, crushing of the impurities can be done, and then with the help of flocculation, the impurities can be segregated easily, and then due to the sedimentation all the impurities will settle down, and then water can be filtered. Then the secondary process is also there. In that, biological processes can be used. The bacteria can be introduced into the untreated water for treating that, and some fungi is there that can also be introduced into the water so that it can be treated, and that water can be discharged. And then the tertiary treatments are there in which chlorine is added. So in this way, these kind of treatments can be done. After proper treatment only, the water should be discharged into the water bodies. Then the legal sanction should be made on the industries, those who are overdrawing the underground water resources. So some legal sanction should be there. Some optimum level should be mentioned from till where they can extract the water from the underground water table. So now this was about the water pollution, how it can be controlled. Now let's see the air pollution, what the industries can do. So the major culprit in the air pollution is the chimneys, the smokestacks of the factory. So proper equipment should be placed within the stack so that the less pollution is there, like electrostatic precipitators can be put into the smokestacks, and then fabric filters can be put, where all the dust particles will be collected in electrostatic precipitators. There also the plates can be put which will collect, the current will be there, high voltage current will be there, all the dust particles will be collected on those plates, and then those plates can be it can be replaced easily. Fabric filters, scrubbers can be used where the water source is there and then absorbing material is there, so all the dust particles will be collected there. Then initial separators can be used. So these kind of equipments can be fitted into the smokestacks to reduce the air pollution. Then after that, the less use of fossil fuel should be done. Coal and all, their use should be reduced. And then if in order to control the noise pollution, the machinery and equipment should be fitted with silencers. The machinery, the generators which are making lot of noise, there we can fit the silencer. All the machinery should be redesigned so that more efficient that machinery should be, so that to reduce the noise, and noise absorbing material can be used, like soundproof walls can be made. Employees are already, they use earplugs and all these earphones. Apart from then, the soundproof material, curtains, like that kind of curtains, that kind of compartments with the sound absorbing material that can be used. So this is how to control the pollution. And now the next part is NTPC. The proactive approach has been adopted by the NTPC in order to preserve the environment, to protect the environment and resources. So now National Thermal Power Corporation, it has plants throughout the country, the thermal power plants to generate electricity. So now they have adopted certain measures in order to reduce environmental degradation and pollution, like they have already optimized their optimum utilization or is there of the equipment. They are upgrading their equipment so that less and less pollution should be there by the machinery. So they are upgrading their already existing machineries, and they are adopting the latest techniques also. Then the next step they have taken is minimum waste generation. So this is their you can say they have taken this as a challenge, that this is the step they have taken, that minimum waste generation should be there and maximum ash utilization should be there. The waste product which is generated by these thermal power plants, since they are using the coal as a raw material, so the fly ash is suspended in the air, which creates the air pollution. So in order to tackle that, this ash can be used as a soil modifier. It will increase the fertility of the soil, so this can be used in fertilizer plants, or it can be used in cement industries. So this is the alternative by which we can use the waste which is being generated by these thermal power plants. Then there are a lot of afforestation. These NTPC plants, they are doing wherever their plants are located, lot of green belts. They are making their more and more greenery, ecological balance. They are nurturing the ecological balance. They are doing their. Then after that, the next step they have taken is to preserve the environment, to reduce the effects of the pollution by proper ash pond management. They are going for, that is wherever the NTPC plants are there, so there they are making the pond so that whatever fly ash is suspended in the air, it should settle down. And then ash water recycling, so they recycle that ash water. And liquid waste management also, before discharging, the proper treatment they are doing of their liquid, like we have seen the primary secondary treatment can be given. Then after that, ecological monitoring, reviews, online database. So these are after sales services which the NTPC is taking the reviews, that how much pollution, the damage and the waste generation is there by this their plants. So they take the reviews, and further the discussions, the integrated system is there, so discussion is done what need to be done. So that is all about the proactive approach of the NTPC.